Hitting the wrong keys. $65. A little better. It is a little hot in here. Oh, 76. That's a little better. Thank you for the likes on the live. Keep hitting the wrong keys. My hand thinks that the STKA position is wrong. Hello, Axel. $68. $84 this time. That's good.
Ticked _off Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for the yeehaw. $89. Yes, it is indeed mustache time. Thank you for the likes on the live. Hello, Dakota. $73 strokes per minute. This one's a little easier. As I say that as I begin to mess up. $81. Damn. These are so tough. Okay, that was 46, which is a lot worse. That was 55. $91. That's a lot better. $96. Okay, other hand. BTS. ERBTS. ARBTS. ERBTS. ERBTS. Hello, Alicia. How are you doing? I'm suffering right now. $29. That's a lot worse than before. ERBDZ. My fingers don't like these positions. Kind of hurts. This one kind of hurts. How's it going? Get new glasses yet? No, I did go to the optometrist yesterday. I just need to order the new glasses. It's gonna be pretty expensive. My prescription is really strong. I have the prescription tucked away in purse I was using to carry everything. $33. My hand kind of hurts because of the last drill. it really strained my hand. Hope your day is going good. Same to you. I'm just doing these finger drills for a little while. I always do these at the start of the stream. There's no music, so it's all very, I have to talk a lot in order to fill up the silence. Is 22 of these? 22? That's absurd. ERBT, EFRPS, RPS. Have fun on the stream. Gonna go relax after a hard day. Okay. Thank you for stopping by. It's Thursday. You know what that means? Stenography time. Exactly. I'm just doing finger drills right now. I have a dictionary I'm gonna try out. I made it a few years ago and I found it the other day. It was separated into different dictionaries, so I compiled them all into one, and I named it Wisp Theory. I'm hoping since it came from my brain, that it'll be easy for me to start using it. Thank you. "51 strokes. I can't believe there's 16 more to do." Yeah. These wouldn't be that difficult if I were faster with it. "74. So I was given a video to caption, so I'm gonna be doing that after stream. "47. EURFP. Sorry, EUFRP. That was the wrong order. Ow. Once I'm done with this, I'll be able to finally use the dictionary. I haven't used it yet. I've been procrastinating on studying stenography. So it's just gonna be me continuing where I left off the other day, last Thursday. 44 strokes. I don't understand how people do these fast. I understand like the first few of the drills, but the rest of them are like, ouch. That does remind me that when I was looking through the dictionary to take out a bunch of nonsensical and ungrammatical words and phrases, there was one in particular that had too many keys. It was impossible to do because not enough fingers. I forget what entry it was for. Probably something like someone else's. As in the phrase someone else's. $33. $53. How many? 11 more. And then I can move on. Ow. BLTS? Ouch. Am I right? This is straining my fingers. Ow. I do have a book I bought a while back with some textbooks. I believe it's called what it's called. Track to machine shorthand. Fast track to machine shorthand, I believe it's called. I really whipped that out of the cobwebs of my mind. And it also has drills, but they're of words. 23 strokes. Woo! That one was 95. Not very impressive, but compared to everything else, amazing. 61. $114. That's a lot faster. Whoops. Let me just repeat. I realized the other day that I could adjust the tension and stuff for the keys on my Steno machine. For all this time, I thought it was impossible, but I realized that I could actually open it up very easily. I haven't adjusted it yet because I'm scared of breaking it, because that's what happened with my other machine, my Centura 400 SRT. At first I was, oh.
Ticked _off_ Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for the yeehaw. But yeah, that's what happened to my Centura 400 SRT, my other Steno machine. It's the one that I use for school. At first, it started with like the keys not registering when I would tap them. So then I opened it up and I tried to adjust it, and I only made the problem worse. I had to get another machine, this one that I'm using currently, to fix it. I mean, I had to get a new one because I couldn't fix the other one. The one I'm currently using is called a Stentura 8000LX. It's just like the 400 SRT, except it's a professional machine.
Jazz Abdel Games just redeemed posture check.
Thank you for the posture check, Jazz. 53 strokes. Okay, we got 3 left. Wow, I've been doing this for 30 minutes. I don't know how that much time has passed. $64. Okay, 2 more to go. Hi, Lydia. I'm currently in the middle of the boring part of the stream. The finger drills portion. I've lifted up my hand to see if that would help me. It's only doing so much though. My hand is still straining. You're playing the new update for Grounded 2? Ooh. Hope you're having fun. 37. One more to go besides this one. UBLTS. BLTS. UBLTS. UBLTS. I keep hitting the G key. I'm almost done. My hands will thank me. Okay, this is the last one. I think the next time I play Metaphor is going to be the last time. So I was in my Discord server discussing it, and I've decided that I'm going to play No Sleep for Konami Date. Okay, now I need to reselect all my dictionaries. Okay. Okay, what is other? Okay, I already ran into a conflict. O-R-T. O-E-R-T. Okay. Up. No. I've ran into another conflict, this time with up. Oh, up is U7. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Get is GT. Okay. Can, okay. Can't, K asterisk is could. So, all, at, by, where? By? How do I write by? By. Hello, Dequivius. How you doing? No, it's her. Add here. What like would? Have in they. Okay. In. How about the word in? In, they, him. Be, me, only. Which, it, he, as, any, do. Now, for, over, we, did, after, his, with, said, good. Good will my there is right think was think. Okay. Yeah, I did remember. Oh, okay. PBG is think. That's not bad. Much. I could just use FP for much. About. Oh, you're on season 2 of JJK. Hope you're enjoying it. I know I did. No, most other. Other. The word time, can, and then those. First up, go, are, because, more, some, into these, that are, has, people, when, yeah, get, then, there, could, who, she, so, all, at, by, where, even, no, it's, her, had, here, what, like, would, have, in, they, him, be, me, only, which, it, he, as, any, do, now, for, over, we did, after, his, with, said, good, will, my, there, is, right, think, was, also, from, much, on, how, this, about, but, about, you're my top 3 streamers, thank you. Well, out, not been, does, to, I. That was 66 words per minute. I was not going very fast. Good, her, really. About, both, between, no, mean, just, well, them, last. His, those, out, time, make, where, also these. Other, it's, do, all, like, then, back, work, years. What, did, can, any, get, first. Who, more, she, how, been, no. Would, there, hear, people, many. After, so, into, say, year, before. You're second, sorry, you aren't first, that's fine. It's just nice knowing that I am in the top 3. That's pretty cool. Little, had, something, then, should, even, should. How do I should? Oh, GS, okay. Even, got, my, such, right, hour, there, going, think, may, only, very, now, upway, which, and, said, does, still. Thank you for the rose. Okay, I'm moving on to the next portion. 50. See through, anything, over them, lot, kind, way, only, me, make, down, never, make, got, will, first, where, really, while, before, say, made, being, now, another, still, been, year, data, here, both, use, other, also, time, day, work, it's, to, because, last, going, she, into, get, good, used, since, said, around, him, thing, no, same, years, supposed to be thing. How do I write thing? 7HG. Something right mean people between these go different, some okay. Then even such could out little back will after off does. I don't care about big streamers like Speed or Kai Cenat. I prefer gamer and stenography practitioners. That's pretty cool. Don't worry, I immediately blocked them from the live. I ban a lot of people. Look less through under. Under. I don't have anything for under. Much. Number. You hate people like that? Yeah, me too. Always. Both lot day back may work now last go. Should even going. Whoops. Should even going. Very use something. Such might still. Years same kind before. After things. Yeah, definitely grow up. How did I think again? This. Yeah, that's thing. Does into thought while say since thing 7, 8, 8. Part new made against each during could those little its. Your friend keeps spamming you with stickers? I do that to my little sister and my little brother. Being thought real. Real through less things. 2 genes, little year make. Yeah, I eventually stop spamming my siblings. Hopefully your friend will stop soon. New each last made off you. High day, come data. Why is that like that? Data both next, home same. Sure, another money found. Many since take between something under every around before should world. Study way family never look big. Says want kind story might figure very own. Actually going against used end percent lot down probably. Okay, I'm moving on to the short quotes. Go to sleep. Live as if you'd UDZ. Okay, I can use UDZ. Drop dead in 10 seconds. 10 in 10 seconds. When I saw the break of day, I wish that I could fly away. Death is what gives life meaning. To know your days are numbered, your time is short. Death is what gives life meaning. To know your days are numbered, your time is short. 108. Whoever talks about what does not concern him often hears what does not please him. You got a half day of school tomorrow? Let's go. Okay. EURS and then the asterisk as well. And I saw. Oh, I do have an and I saw. SKWERS. The way you carried yourself, that you're not a happy person. I saw right, I saw again. In your eyes, and I saw the way you carried yourself, that you are not a happy person. Tricky trying to figure out everything. I found I had to love myself the way I wanted you to love me. 85. I thought it was going pretty fast. I was only at 85. $179. Let's go. Die anytime. Anytime. Did you get clocked by TikTok? What's soft? What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Oh my god, sun? Okay, I need to add the word sun because it's not popping up anymore. You're spamming the stickers. When the snow is falling, the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. You can't get back what you've lost. I thought there was a what you've lost. What's important now is what is it that you still have? If he doesn't stop, I'm gonna be on the news tomorrow. Today, it's already tomorrow in Australia. But on this particular day, I did not like the color of the sky. The spirits that I summoned up, I now can't rid myself of. Some people don't understand the promises they're making when they make them. 1:30. If you don't like your destiny, don't accept it. Whoa. I messed that one up pretty bad. 139. While monsters are mostly made of magic, human beings are mostly made of water. Cynthia asking people to call me a good boy. 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. Your potato's now burning? One is never afraid of the unknown. One is afraid of the known coming to an end. One is never afraid. Afraid of the unknown. One is afraid of the known coming to an end. I like nonsense. I like nonsense. It wakes up the brain cells. Fantasy is necessary ingredient in, how do I write ingredient now? This dictionary has a few quirks in it that I need to fix. I don't need this to both be I know. Let me fix that. He's spamming you on WhatsApp now? Wow, that's dedication. Okay, I did fix it. every time I think of exercise, I have to lie right down until the feeling leaves me. You think you will die? Huh? You think you will die, but you just keep living day after day after terrible day. Gentlemen, what is happening? Let me check. What was I hitting? Huh. You have under, taken. Not showing all the entries. Your best friend got to high school on Wednesday? Cool. Under. PPHC. Okay, I'll need to fix that in my dictionary. If I already have it as a number bar entry, I don't need it regularly. Okay. Okay. Gentlemen, you have undertaken to cheat me. I won't sue you, for the law is too slow. I'll ruin you. 105. If I'm around you, I don't think I'll ever be bored. You know, some automotive yoga could really lower your RPMs. And have my friends are a year younger than me because I was put in a split class in primary school. Most of my friends were my age when I was in high school. Everybody thinks they are protecting and defending. Oh no. If I have it as a number bar entry, I don't need it as a regular one. There, deleted. Okay, the word do. No. Okay, I fixed that one too. I've seen what such feelings can do to a fully trained Jedi Knight. To the best of us. He swears to serve the master of the precious. He swears on the precious. You're gonna go, but you're one of the reasons I smiled. That's very sweet of you. Bye. Have a good day at school. Melody was a Jedi Knight, but that was before the dark times. I have such vibrant lore. Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I need a love reaction. Come on. Now, baby, give me just one look. Over the field rang his clear voice calling, death, ride to ruin and the world's ending. Ad break starts in a few seconds. Two things are, damn it. Seven, 8G. That is Sting. Seven, 8G, Z. 7, 8G, Z. Are infinite. The universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. When will I know I'm ready? You won't. It's a leap of faith. $136. All I hear right now is Baby Shark being blasted upstairs. Okay. You happen. Let me just turn that into a number bar entry instead. There. All I hear right now is Baby Shark being blasted upstairs. They don't know our world, but they know their own. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Bit of a trade secret. See? Electricity can't abide rubber. It stops the stuff from biting you. Once you've been loved once and have loved once, you cannot forget it. Maybe I can write that shorter. Once you've been UFBZ. loved ones and have loved. And have loved once, you cannot forget it. Yes, I could write it shorter. Loved once and have loved once, you cannot forget it. A wise person once said that you can never lose what you never had. What you never. What you never? Okay, it is in the dictionary. A wise person once said that you can never lose what you never had. Oh, it's because okay, I omitted the H in that stroke. I think I need to edit all of these so that there's a H there. Greetings, hello. Bad Dragon. Person once said that you can never lose what you never had. But you can go into debt. If the truth is a cruel mistress, then a lie must be a nice girl. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. 217. When you become untouchable, you are unable to touch. Let me try that again. When you become untouchable, you are unable to touch. Do the gods light this fire in our hearts, or does each man's mad desire become his god? 91. Welcome to the Caribbean. Love. People say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day. You must take life the way it comes at you and make the best of it. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. It is a good life we lead, brother. The best. May it never change, and may it never change us. Oh, I should probably switch to the textbook. I'll do that in a minute. Wow, what is that? Wow, Oh, a galaxy. That's pretty neat. I've never seen that before. Thank you. You really didn't need to do that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm moving on to the textbook now. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's up there. The textbook and Notepad++. I just need to move things around on my screens. The galaxy looked pretty cool when it was redeemed. A binding promise by an offerer You're very welcome. Thank you. I think I'm gonna add offerer to my dictionary because this doesn't appear to be in there. Thank you for the follow as well. It really isn't in here? Yeah, it's not in there. Gotta open a different dictionary. Where is it? Oh. Words, not phrases or briefs. Offerer. Is that pronounced differently? Let me check. Merriam-Webster, maybe? It is on what Merriam-Webster. Offeror. God, if only Google hadn't replaced the definition thing with its shitty AI. Because now I can't even look up how to pronounce it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go along with the idea that it's pronounced offerer. Okay, offerer. To hold an offer open, requiring consideration from the offeree to make it binding is called an affirm offer, option contract, promissory estoppel, estoppel, nundum, maybe it is in the dictionary. Let me check. This is what happens when you use a new dictionary. Yeah, that's the big one. Nundum. Okay. Nundum. Pactum. Okay. Nundum pactum. Learning objectives. Identify what capacity to make a contract means. Explain what consideration for a contract is, as well as explaining key exceptions to the requirement of consideration. Explain what contracts are generally how do I generally included in a statute of frauds and what is required to be considered a written contract. Distinguish what makes certain agreements defective, such as fraud, duress, and undue influence. And contracts that are unconscionable. Okay, I have believe, but it also has a number bar entry, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. There. Unconscionable. It's not coming out right. Identify what types of agreements are unenforceable because they are illegal. Okay, it's that L at the end. Get rid of it. There. Illegal. Okay, there's also A. Agreement. There. Fixed it. So what I've been doing is every so often something won't translate correctly. So if it's on the right side of the keyboard, I've been deleting entries and leaving the ones that are just number bar entries. As discussed, discussed okay having trouble with discuss. As discussed in chapter 18, minors make voidable contracts because their age makes them legally incapable of making an initially binding contract. While an adult is generally presumed competent to make a contract, age is not the only impediment to contractual capacity, which is the legal standard for being able to make a contract. One can lack the mental capacity to make a contract due to being too drunk, or otherwise under the influence of drugs to realize she or he is making a contract. A judicial declaration of insanity also makes one incapable of legally entering into a contract. And let me look up contractual now. Okay, it's cractual. Consideration. The key ingredient that when added to an unenforceable agreement turns that agreement into a binding contract is consideration. Consideration is the exchange of benefits and promises by the parties to the agreement. It is the glue that binds the parties to the contract. The Latin phrase describing this concept is quid pro quo, meaning this or that, or one thing in return for another. Contracts are, in a metaphoric sense, two-way streets imposing both an obligation to perform the duty and a right to receive. What would you do if you got transported back in time to the Roman Empire? God, probably cry. That sounds horrific. Consideration is both sides of that street. By contrast, a promise to make a gift to someone is unenforceable. A one-way street because the other side hasn't promised something in return. Okay. There are exceptions to the gift promise rule, such as the charitable finally, subscription. A charitable subscription. What's the capital of France? Paris? Subscription is a promise to make a donation or gift to a charitable organization, religious, civic, educational, etc. And those gratuitous promises are binding. So if someone isn't bound to keep a promise, such as when the other side hasn't promised anything in return, the agreement lacks consideration. The difference between please take my coat and please take my coat for $100 is more than a comma. The money in the second sentence represents the other half of the exchange, and consideration is all about an exchange. Promising not to do something that one has a right to do is known as forbearance. Okay, let me get rid of that from my dictionary. Forbearance, and it can be consideration, just as promising to do something that one has a right to do can be consideration. For example, in exchange for a huge plate of chocolate chip cookies promised by the next door neighbor, the other neighbor could promise not to use his charcoal okay. Weird. Charcoal grill to cook hamburgers for a particular week when the cookie making neighbor has vegan family members visiting. When one who made the promise, the promiser, is under no legal obligation to give the object to the one to whom the promise was made, the promisee, the agreement is a nudum pactum. That is a barren promise with no consideration, or literally translated, a naked agreement. In a bilateral contract, the consideration is the promises exchanged by each party. In a unilateral contract, the consideration is the promise of one and the act or performance of the other. Therefore, the contract isn't made technically until the act is performed. In the past and today in some states, a seal on a contract establishes the consideration when none existed. This mark impression, the word seal, or the letters LS, is placed on a written contract next to the party's signature. LS stands for locus sigilli. Okay, it is so tiny, these letters. I don't even know how to pronounce locus sigilli. Locus sigilli. Sigilli? Okay, let me just add it to my dictionary. Okay. Which means the place of the seal. An option contract is a binding promise by an offerer to hold an offer open, and it requires consideration from the offeree to make it binding. For instance, someone who wants to buy a home but does not immediately know whether financing can be arranged might offer the seller a sum of money to take the home off the market to other prospective buyers for, let's say, 30 days, so that bank financing can be sought. If the seller accepts the money, an option contract has been created for 30 days. An exception occurs when a merchant promises in writing to hold an offer open for the sale of goods. This promise by a merchant someone according to the Uniform Commercial Code who is in the business of buying and selling goods is known as a firm offer and requires no consideration to be binding. This will be discussed again in chapter 21, which concerns the Uniform Commercial Code and contracts for sales of goods. We got 22 minutes left in the stream. In a lawsuit, the defense of lack of consideration refers to a barren promise containing no consideration in the agreement. In contrast, the defense of failure of consideration refers to a contract that originally had consideration, but that after the contract was made, the consideration was not provided to the party being sued. Failure of consideration could be used when a buyer of goods is sued for failing to pay them and then claims the goods weren't paid for because when they arrived to the buyer, they had become worthless through the fault of the seller. Under an equitable I can't fucking see. Okay. I was able to write it. I figured it out. Doctrine known as promissory estoppel. Estoppel. No consideration is necessary when someone makes a promise that induces the other person's detrimental and reasonable reliance on the promise. And injustice can be avoided only by enforcing the promise. Suppose that a man works in a catering business and offers to buy the business when the owner retires. The owner says, I tell you what, I'll sell it to you. But she then suggests that the employee get a degree in culinary arts first. So the employee borrows the money to go to culinary school, which takes a few years. Then the owner mentions that caterers should understand business and says you'll need to have a business degree too. So the employee borrows more money to earn a business degree and spends more years studying. Then the owner says that to be the owner of her catering business, the employee would have to move to the city where the business is located rather than live in the cheaper town 15 miles away. So the employee moves to the city, increasing his housing costs by 30%. When the owner finally retires, she refuses to sell her business to her long-suffering employee. This could likely be a case for promissory estoppel. However, if that employee were to win a promissory estoppel case, the damages would be the money the employee lost by relying on the promise that the catering business would be his to buy. The damages wouldn't be the forced sale of the business to the employee or money equaling what the business is worth. Contracts require to be in writing. Although it makes sense for a variety of reasons to put a contract in writing, the law requires only certain contracts to be in writing. Others are fully enforceable, even though they are oral. Statutes of frauds. Under a rule of law coming from 17th. Okay. Let me fix that. GT. What was that? Got? Yeah, that was got. Or get. Get rid of that. Let me compare this dictionary to this one. Okay. 17th century. Century England known as the statute of frauds. Certain contracts must be in writing. Huh? Confused. Oh, okay. Get rid of that. EUPB. Don't need that to be in writing to be enforceable. With some variations from state to state, the following contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. Contracts whose performance cannot be completed within a year after the contract was formed. Promises to answer for the debt or default of another. Sometimes known as a collateral promise. Contracts for the sale of an interest in real property. Contracts in consideration of marriage, such as prenuptial agreements, promises by personal representatives of estates to pay debts of the estate personally, a type of collateral promise. With certain exceptions, contracts for the sale of goods of 500 or more, discussed in chapter 20. Requirements of a writing. The writing that is necessary to satisfy the statute of frauds is called a memorandum. It may consist of any writing, such as words on a piece of scrap paper, receipt, or check, so long as it meets the following requirements. Identifies the parties to the contract, states the terms of the contract. For real estate contracts, identifies the locus of land, that is, the exact parcel of land under contract, states the price, is signed by the person against whom enforcement is sought. As stated in Chapter 18, federal law and many state laws allow contracts to be signed with an e-signature, electronic Okay, I need to fix that too. There. Electronic signature. A method of signing an electronic message that identifies the sender and signifies his or her approval of the message's content. Parole evidence rule. The law assumes that when a contract is reduced to writing and signed, all of its terms are contained in the writing. Consequently, under a special rule of evidence known as the parole evidence rule, oral evidence of prior or contemporaneous how do I write this? Contemporaneous. Oh, okay, it is in the dictionary. Negotiations. Negotiation. Negotiations between the parties is not admissible in court to alter, vary, or contradict the terms of a written agreement. Because of this rule, it is important to include all terms that are orally agreed upon whenever a contract is reduced to writing. If one believes that he or she was lied to during negotiations because the contract doesn't reflect what was stated by the other party, the party making the accusation accusation of lying will not be able to testify about what was supposed to be in the contract. There are exceptions to the parole evidence rule, including allowing testimony to help clear up an acknowledged ambiguity in the terms in the contract, lending it to reasonable but alternate meanings. Okay, how close am I to being done with this? Okay, it's this in the next page. Defective agreements. Certain agreements that initially seem to be legitimate, are in fact defective and therefore not recognized as valid binding contracts. The most common of these agreements involving mutual mistake, fraud, duress, duress, and undue influence. Contracts that are unconscionable may also be declared unenforceable by courts. Mistake. When both parties are mistaken about an essential I always forget essential aspect of an agreement they entered into, which is also known as being mistaken as to a material fact of the contract, a bilateral or mutual mistake has been made and the contract is voidable at the option of either party. Occasionally, courts might refer to a contract as requiring a meeting of the minds, which would not be the case in a mutual mistake. In contrast to a mutual or bilateral mistake, when only one of the parties makes a mistake as to a material element of the contract, it is known as a unilateral, one-sided mistake, and generally, the mistaken party cannot have the contract avoided, made void, or rescinded, canceled. One factor courts look into in considering if a contract can be rescinded because of mistake is if the party claiming mistake bore the risk of mistake. To illustrate, suppose a buyer of a $2,000 acoustic guitar made of mahogany wood seeks to rescind the contract on the grounds that the buyer thought he actually was buying a rosewood made guitar. If the terms of the sales contract state the buyer's purchase indicates satisfactory inspection of the guitar, then the buyer explicitly bore the risk of mistake. Fraud, which also exists in tort law, occurs when one party to the contract makes a misrepresentation of a material existing fact which the other party to the contract relies on and thereby suffers damages. If the defrauded party was induced by fraud to enter into the contract, it is called fraud in the inducement, and the contract is voidable at the option of the injured party. If, conversely, fraud as to the essential nature of the transaction occurred, such as telling a blind man that he is signing a receipt when the document is really a check from the blind man's checkbook, that is fraud in the execution. Originally, fraud in esse contractus. And the contract is void. A defrauded party always has the right to rescind the contract and to return any consideration received. Thus, rescission restores the parties to their original position. A defrauded party may choose instead to keep the consideration and approve the contract and bring suit for damages. Duress versus undue influence. Contracts entered into because of duress or undue influence may also be avoided by the injured party. Duress is the overcoming of a person's free will by the use of an unlawful threat or physical harm. Sign this contract or I'll ruin your credit history is duress. Undue influence is the overcoming of a person's free will by misusing a position of trust and taking advantage of the other person who was relying on the trust relationship. Undue influence starts by way of a relationship that is unequal, where the stronger one in the relationship takes advantage of the weaker one by abusing the trust. Undue influence would be at issue when a nephew, caring for his elderly and forgetful aunt, persuades her to sell her $1 million house to him for $100,000. Unconscionable. Okay, I'm gonna need to figure out how to write that. Unconscionable contracts. Some contracts or parts of them are so harshly one-sided and unfair that they, as is the operative legal phrase, shock the conscience of the court. Such contracts are considered unconscionable by the courts and will not be enforced. This is because unconscionable contracts, in some cases called adhesion contracts, are drawn by one party to that party's lopsided benefit and must be accepted as is on a take it or leave it basis if a contract is to result. Sometimes adhesion contracts fall into this category. Adhesion contracts often contain boilerplate, which is standardized language commonly used in similar legal documents. Although no longer descriptive of its history, boilerplate is still alive and well and is usually found at the end of contracts with such heading titles as attorney's fees, waiver, arbitration, limitations on damages. Boilerplate can be found in legal form books or stored on law office computers for use in the drafting of legal documents. Exculpatory clauses that limit or eliminate legal responsibility for the party drafting the contract, are generally used in boilerplate. Courts generally look disfavorably at exculpatory clauses. However, such clauses will usually be enforced if they do not offend public policy defined below, and if the bargaining power between the parties is equal. Okay, I got one page left, and it's just 2 short paragraphs. Due to illegality. To be valid and enforceable, contracts must be about that which is legal to do and perform. Illegal contracts are void. They have no legal effect. For example, usury, which is the charging of a higher amount of interest than is allowed by consumer protection laws, is illegal in every state. Gambling is illegal in many states, with exceptions such as state lotteries, horse and dog racing, and bingo. I guess bingo is gambling, huh? I guess so. Do people gamble when they play bingo? Guess so if it's in the textbook. Sunday. Okay, Sunday. Sunday contracts. Contracts to purchase on Sundays certain items like alcohol and automobiles are illegal in some states with certain specific exceptions. Contracts in restraint of trade such as agreements not to compete are also illegal, along with other types of contracts that are opposed to public policy. Public policy is a doctrine that is often difficult to identify, but it is generally thought to be underlying foundational principles that bind various peoples into a close-knit society. It represents those ideas that reflect the moral or cultural fabric oh man, I gotta fix that too. It's coming out as recollect. Okay, I fixed it. Fabric of a jurisdiction. For instance, a contract prohibiting someone from marrying is thought to be against public policy and would be void, except when the parties are not in pari delicto, in pari maybe? In pari. Maybe it's all together? No. Okay, let me add this to my dictionary. In pari delicto, which means in equal fault. The court will not aid either party to an illegal contract. It will leave the parties where they placed themselves. Okay, that's it. Finish this chapter. Next chapter is third parties and discharge of contracts. I fixed up my dictionary some, so that's good. And I didn't make it to the audiobook, but that's okay. I think I'll just end the stream here. Tomorrow I'm playing Digimon Story Time Stranger again. Hope to see y'all there. In the meantime, goodbye.